Hello everyone, today I am going to discuss about fluid and electrolyte imbalance. Firstly, I will discuss about what is fluid. Fluid helps maintain our body temperature and transport nutrients, gases and wastes. Fluid and electrolyte balance is a dynamic process that is crucial for life. It is a vital role in a homeostasis. Imbalance may result from many factors that is associated with the illness. Then I will discuss about composition of body fluid. Total body fluid 60% of body weight that is divided into two parts, intracellular fluid and extracellular fluid. Intracellular fluid, it is the systole within the cell, and extracellular fluids surround the cell serve as a circulatory reservoir. Then extracellular fluid further divided into three parts, that is first is interstitial fluid, transcellular fluid and intravascular fluid. Interstitial fluid is a thin layer of fluid which surrounds the body cell. Interstitial fluid has become useful in the monitoring of glucose level in the people with diabetes. Then second is transcellular fluid. Transcellular fluid is a portion of total body water contained within the epithelial line spaces. It is the smallest component of extracellular fluid, which also include interstitial fluid and plasma. Then third one is intravascular fluid. Intravascular fluid in the mammal is blood, a complex mixture with element of a suspension, main blood cell, colloid means globulin, and solute means glucose and iron. The blood represents both the intracellular compartment, means the fluid inside the blood cells, and extracellular compartment, means blood plasma. Then I briefly introduce about electrolyte. Electrolyte is the body fluid or active chemical, means the cation and anion. Cation is a positive charge and is opposite, anion is negative charge. Cation, for example, sodium, potassium, magnesium and hydrogen ion, and in anion, chloride, bicarbonate and phosphate sulfate. Then I discuss about regulation of body fluid compartment. The first is osmosis. Osmosis is fluid shift through the membrane from the region of low solute concentration to region of high solute concentration until the solution are of equal concentration. Then is diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of a substance from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. Diffusion happens in liquid and gases because their particular move randomly from the place to place. Diffusion is an important process for living things. It is how substance move in or out of the cell. Then third one is filtration. Filtration is the process of removing or reducing the concentration of particulate matter, including suspended particles, parasites, bacteria, algae, viruses and fungi, as well as other undesirable chemical and biological contaminants from contaminated water to produce safe and clean water. Then I will discuss about root of gain and losses. There are four factors which are responsible for gain and losses. Water. First one is kidney, second skin, third one is lungs, and fourth one is GI tract. Water and electrolyte are gained in various ways. A healthy person gains fluid by drinking and eating. Fluid may be provided by parenteral route, IV or subcutaneous, or by means of an enteral feeding tube in the stomach or intestine. Then second is kidney. The usual daily volume in the adult is 1 liter to 2 liter. A general rule is that output is approximately 1 milliliter of urine per kilogram of body weight per hour in all age group. Then third one is skin. The sensible perspiration refer to visible water and electrolyte loss through the skin, that is sweating. The chief solutes in sweets are sodium chloride and potassium. Actual sweet losses can vary from 0 to 1000 ml or more every hour depending on the environmental temperature. Continuous water loss from evaporation 600 ml per day occur through the skin as insensible perspirations, a non-visible form of water loss. Fever generally increase insensible water loss through the lungs and skin as loss of natural skin barrier. Then lungs. Lungs normally eliminate water evaporate at a rate of 400 ml every day. The loss is much greater with increased rate depth or in a dry climate. Then last is gastrointestinal tract means GI. The usual loss through the GI tract is only 100 to 200 ml daily, even though 8 liters of fluid circulate through the GI system every 24 hours, called the GI circulation, because the bulk of fluid is normally reabsorbed in a small intestine and fistulae cause losses in healthy people. The daily average intake and output of water are equal. So that's it all about my points.